But sadly, the questions I noticed from Minister Albanese's office are always late. It's unfair to the committee, and as a consequence of the late afternoon, Friday afternoon, the hard-working people in the Secretariat had to work Friday night and Saturday just to process the questions. And I think that's most unreasonable. And I mean, there's no strategic reason, bugger it. I mean, the questions and the answers are the answers, and if they're on paper, we ought to be entitled to see them in time to get our head around them. And there can often be important issues, and I'm sure that Senator Fawcett is about to raise important issues that we need to thoroughly process in the best interest of the Australian public. Thank you.
No questions, Senator Heffernan. In that case, Senator Fawcett.
Thank you, Chair. Mr Murdoch, I just want to come to the issue of the process of the department to responding to reports of the Senate. You'd be aware that a report was tabled into a couple of areas of your responsibility last week. In accordance with various decisions of the Senate, the Minister has 3 months to respond. That 3-month period will fall right in the middle of the caretaker period, which means that significant safety issues could potentially be stretched out beyond 4 or 5 months before resolution, which is unacceptable. Could you tell the committee what your plan is to make sure that those issues are addressed in a timely manner, given that overlapping of significant timeframes?
Thank you, Senator. We are certainly aware of the serious issues raised by the committee's report last week, that was tabled last week in the Senate. The Minister has sought urgent advice from agencies in relation to the matters raised by the Senate committee. We are now in the process of providing that advice to the Minister. I think the Minister certainly does recognise the need to urgently review and address the recommendations. I'm not in a position here today to give you an exact time frame, Senator, as to when the Minister and the Government will formally respond to the report, but I think we all are very conscious of the fact that with the date of the federal election being set or being proposed for 14 September and caretaker notionally starting on around August the 12th, that would fall within the normal 3-month period. I can only say to you that the Government is giving this serious and urgent consideration and looking to expedite its response as best it can.
I accept that you can't speak for the Minister and when he will release his response, but can you give the committee an undertaking that the Department's response to the Minister will occur in sufficient time that he can respond before the caretaker mode?
Certainly that would be our intention, and as I've said, the Minister has sought advice, and in preliminary discussions with him on the issues involved, he has sought that advice as a matter of urgency, and we are doing that now along with with our portfolio agencies.
Okay, thanks, Chair.
I'll just further add to that, Mr Chairman, that weighed heavily on the minds of all members of the committee, and you'll note it was a unanimous report, that that we address the issues raised in the way we have, because we absolutely wanted to be open and honest in that report, and we didn't want to have the even slightest prospect in future there could be a calamity which would come back to haunt our conscience.
No, I appreciate that, Senator, and as I say, the Department is, as a matter of urgency, preparing advice for the Government to consider on the issues raised. If I can, Chair, through you.
Mr Murdoch, I appreciate you can't and you can't with accuracy indicate when your advice will be ready, but you'd have some idea of when you might be in a position to submit advice to the Minister. I mean, is it likely to take a day, a week, a month?
We already have officers in the Department and including myself and senior officers who've carefully read the report now. I've had discussions with my senior officers. We envisage being in a position to provide some initial advice to the Minister, I expect, certainly within the next week to 10 days in relation to it. Clearly, following these, we've been through the process of the budget and now estimates. I envisage having conversations with the Civil Aviation Safety Authority CEO and the head of the Australian Transport Safety Bureau in the coming days to ascertain their views, to enable me to provide a comprehensive view to the Minister, I would hope, by the end of next week.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Mr Murdoch. And Senator Thistlethwaite, as the Minister representing the Minister, Can you sort of give any indication of what timing the Minister might adopt in relation to this important report and the government's response to it?
Well, I can't give you an indication now, Senator, but I can take that on notice and see if we can come back to you before the end of the day.
Well, that'd be great. Thank you.